Well, hello, hello, and more hello to all you wisdom walkers out there. Happy Sunday, moving forward energy of April. This is Jojo Maria and Saroma coming to you with astrology for self mastery for the first half of April. And of course, tonight I'll be leaving out that beautiful full pink moon in Libra because I did do a video for that earlier this month. And I'll leave the link for you below the description box here on my YouTube channel. Well, here we are. Can you believe it? We made it into April after all the intensity of the last 4 months, November, December, January, February. Wait, 5 months. Oh my God. And into March. And so there is a little slowing down, I'll call it, of the energies. We've only got about 20, I think it's 26 or 27 aspects this month. And the majority of them will be in the last half of the month, but there is definitely this, very powerful energetic of Aries in April, and we have all of the planets moving forward currently right now. Yeah, there are no retrogrades. So that always brings us this feeling of some flow. Let me share with you my quotes for tonight. First one is from Lena Stevens of the Power Path, her April forecast. She says the theme for April is movement. It's all systems go with momentum, motivation, direction, clarity, confidence, action, and lots of fiery energy, prompting us to go for it and take those leaps of faith towards what we want. This energy will be both welcome and exhausting if not balanced. Being present and channeling it in the right direction will keep things moving in a way that supports us instead of scattering the energy and causing us to feel unmotivated instead of inspired. The month begins with a powerful full moon in Libra, prompting a revisit of relationship dynamics and patterns that may be holding us back from positive movement. The questions to ask at the beginning of this month are: where have we overly compromised ourselves in our closest relationships? What fears or old beliefs are holding us back from taking action towards our deepest desires and heartfelt intentions? Yes, yes, yes. And then I got this from Molly McCord. She's an intuitive astrologer. I have quoted some things by her before. She's on YouTube, and I'll leave a link to her April forecast for you, also in the description box below the YouTube. And she says, a soul level reset and an alchemical transformation is here, where old identities fall away and new aspects of self emerge, inviting you to move forward with honest courage and trust in a larger evolutionary path that benefits both your personal journey and the collective. Yeah, those beautiful cherry blossoms that happen at this time. So cool, so cool. Yeah. So also referencing Molly, I love how she has started doing these diagrams for her monthly offerings, or she'll do it on some specific things. So she's calling April the Great Cosmic Launch. And the Gemini shift, of course, because later this month, Uranus, who has been in Gemini for like 11 years, is going to move into, who's been in Taurus for 11 years, is going to move into Gemini. And I have a Gemini rising, so I'm very excited about this. But as you see here, she says on April 9th, the engines start. So there is this Mars and Mercury moving into Aries, which I'm going to break down for you. That is happening. She also talks about time compression. So if you've been feeling like things are speeding up, or the time you thought you had shortens, Yeah, there's that energy that is going on. So thank you, Molly McCord, for putting out these beautiful diagrams. And so I want to remind us that we are in Aries season. And here in the Northern Hemisphere, it has brought the spring. In the Southern Hemisphere, of course, that will be the fall. And I also wanted to just kind of emphasize the fact that April is always the beginning of a new, I'm sorry, March, the end of March is always the beginning of a new astrological year. And that was on March 20th. And I was thinking, especially this year, let me just point out three things that you need to know and that you can just kind of keep in your mindset as we're moving through this year. So, again, on March 20th, the start of Aries season, the first astrological month, opened a very powerful time to bring new visions into form and dare to create something that has never been done before. Here are three things to be aware of for the first third of 2026 astrological year. Number one, forward movement. Yes, as the sun entered Aries, the moon was crescent and all planets were direct. No retrogrades until May 6th, which added supreme cosmic fuel to the forward momentum. Two, huge planetary shift. On April 25th, Uranus leaves Taurus for good and begins his transit through Gemini, which will last until 2032, 2033. This shift will catalyze another substantial acceleration of pace, events change, and evolution, inspiring many of us to pursue new ideas and venture toward uncharted territories. Yes. And third, transforming into the new. Throughout the astrological year, the element of fire will continue to gain prominence as both Jupiter and the South Node enter Leo, respectively at the end of June and in July. The fire element is associated with courage, vitality, and the spark of new life, which emphasizes the importance of creativity, self expression, and risk taking throughout the upcoming months. Yeah, yeah. Just wanted you all to be aware of that because I think it's like so important for us to really get. We're really in a new age. We're in a new epic. This is about newness. And I want to stress that because, of course, there's all this old stuff that is trying to hang on by its fingernails, collectively and also personally. And so we want to be conscious of that and not give way to it. Yeah. Hey, Daphne. Yes, old identities falling away. And oh, you got Moon in Gemini. Okay. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one for this energetic shift that is going to be showing up. Yeah. Way cool. So let's get started because we open up with April the 3rd, which was a Friday. And on this day, we had this aspect of Mercury in Pisces trining Jupiter in Cancer. And this has been a second time that we've had this we had it in March as well. So it says back again, this aspect is here to remind us to be optimistic as good things are just around the corner. Trust your gut as it could lead to windfalls in the future. So again, this dynamic of Pisces and Cancer, just bringing this optimism and hope that is so needed at this time. Ashe. So more about the Pisces and Cancer and Mercury and Jupiter trine. A couple of days after the full moon, Mercury in mutable water sign Pisces sends positive beams to Jupiter in Cancer, heightening our emotional intelligence and intuition. While the sun is in Aries, people may be more self involved. And this beautiful exchange in water energy amplifies our ability to read between the lines and offer compassionate support and understanding. A little encouragement can go a long way in alleviating relationship conflicts. Use this energy to have meaningful dialogues, express your feelings openly, and seek to truly understand where others are coming from. Diplomatic solutions are within reach if you approach challenges with an open heart and a willingness to compromise. Yeah. And of course, this really is referencing people in situations where you know that they'd be open to being supportive to you. Yeah. It's not about trying to negotiate to control somebody or manipulate or be manipulated. Yeah. It really is saying, okay, in those circumstances where something can shift. Yeah. Give yourself permission to work on that. Now, also on this day, we get one of the two squares that we have at the beginning of the month. This one is Venus in Taurus squaring Pluto in Aquarius. Yikes. This tenacious aspect will make compromising difficult today as everyone believes they're right. Strong possibility of power struggles, especially if relationships are already toxic. Know when to walk away. Yeah. So that's about, again, using that discernment and not putting yourself in a situation where you're trying to convince somebody to be something they really can't be or don't want to be. Yeah, absolutely. Magella, she said, I've joined late, so we'll wait until you're done and listen from the start. Sending you so much love. Thank you, my dear. Yeah. She's chiming in from London, so that's like maybe about 1 o'clock in the morning over there, I think, right now. So, yeah, she's amazing. Amazing. So now we move to last Sunday, April the 5th, and here we had that second square. This was the sun in Aries squaring Jupiter in Cancer. This aspect acts as a double edged sword. And while we may feel confident, we might become overly cocky, spoiling our good fortune. Remember to be humble and handle all situations with grace, just like what the venerable monks were teaching us as they were on their journey. Absolutely. Next, Wednesday, April the 8th, we had Mars, still in Pisces at this time, sextiling Uranus in Taurus. This transit increases your desire for fun and excitement. It's a great day for pleasure in all of its forms, as we're willing to take a gamble to get what we want. Take risks today. It's all going to work out. And this is a kind of theme that you'll be hearing because of the Aries energy this month, and especially with Mars and Mercury being in it. It is about this, take a risk, move forward. It's going to be okay. It's going to work out. And then a second message about that is this is a perfect time to make changes in your life because they will happen quickly and smoothly. This is a good time to break away from relationships where your self expression or freedom is limited. This also applies to jobs and anything holding you back from success and happiness. Trust your instincts and don't be afraid to take a risk. Fortune favors the brave. Yeah. Yeah. Just some really nice forward movement energy. And then on Thursday the 9th, we had Mars entering into Aries. Mars, the planet of action, energy, and desire, goes to one of its favorite places to be, Aries, fueling our personal drive and ambition. After spending several weeks in the more introspective sign of Pisces, this shift gives us a burst of assertiveness and initiative. We may feel a stronger urge to take the lead, stand up for ourselves, and pursue our individual goals. And especially if you have done your annual commitments, yeah, then you will definitely, you got your compass. So you'll be definitely going into the right direction with this Mars in Aries energy. So let me give you some more download of this. There's no other planet that makes such a bold and triumphant transition from the dreamy waters of Pisces into the fiery realm of Aries. If you've been feeling a bit sluggish in the last few weeks when Mars was in Pisces, this will now change. In Aries, Mars does what he knows best, takes action. When Mars is in other signs, we always find reasons not to act. For example, Mars in Taurus, it takes too long. Mars in Gemini, I can't focus. Mars in Cancer, what if it hurts other people's feelings? Mars in Leo, what if I make a fool of myself? Mars in Virgo, what if it's not perfect? When Mars is in Aries, the time is now. We naturally connect with that part of our psyche that is always ready for action. This is an excellent time for starting new projects, for asserting your needs and relationships, and for embracing physical activities that challenge and invigorate you. Mars's journey through Aries empowers us to act decisively and with authenticity, encouraging a spirit of pioneering and adventure in our pursuits. Yes, yes, yes. So from Moon Omens, I really liked um, how they interpreted this with Mars entering Aries is redefining strength. Ah, Mars will remain in Aries until May 18th, inviting us to redefine strength, trust our desires, and practice acting from alignment rather than impulse. Strength is often misunderstood as force or as a capacity to push forward no matter what. In the cardinal fire sign of Aries, Mars is at home. During this time, his energy can be channeled directly, quickly, and without much second guessing. This transit is especially significant for people born with personal planets or angles in cardinal signs, which is Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. These people aren't being encouraged to take decisive action and initiative, and these people are being encouraged to take decisive action and initiate new change in their lives. They have the opportunity to get out of inertia, move forward in alignment with their desires, and reclaim their role as leaders of their life. Wow, that's so cool. So, more about redefining strength. As Mars moves into Aries, we gradually experience a surge in our energy levels and desire to make things happen. Throughout the upcoming weeks, we have an opportunity to reconnect with a more instinctive way of taking action and learn to trust our impulses and desires without over analyzing them. Yes. This transit brings our attention to how we relate to frustration and how comfortable we are with expressing our desires and anger openly. Mars and Aries can fuel both our courage and our reactivity, offering us an opportunity to recognize where we act from impatience, impulsivity, or the need to prove something. This transit, together with Saturn and Neptune's recent ingress into Aries, is an invitation to renew our relationship with strength and redefine what strength means to us. Strength is often misunderstood as a force or as a capacity to push forward no matter what. Mars in Aries teaches us that real strength is not about dominating others, being feared, or always being in forward motion. It's about knowing when to act, when not to act, and how to direct our energy into grounded and intentional ways. Yeah. And we know on a world scene, there are several folks that need to be redefining what strength really is. Yeah. But for us at a personal level too, this is so, so, so important, you know. Again, I just keep referencing the monks because they taught so much in terms of what they did on that walk. And one of the things they showed is what real strength is. Yeah, yeah. Because, they were on it, and they made it through. They made it through by doing, this, redefining what strength really is. And they just stayed focused, and they stayed connected and aligned with their purpose. Yeah, and that's what this is really ushering us into. This is what we have to be doing. Now, next part of this message is from Astro Butterfly. She says on April 9th, Mars enters its sign of domicile, Aries, and immediately begins applying to Neptune, which it will do exact on April 13th or 12th, that's today, and Saturn exact on April the 19th. In Aries, Mars brings an urgency to act. I have only one life to live. And the first encounter is Neptune, which tends to idealize what's possible. The reality check comes shortly after with Saturn. Mars conjunct Saturn is not about abandoning the dream or giving up the pursuit. It's about getting clear on how realistic and feasible that direction actually is. Wherever it leads, Mars and Aries will intensify the drive for all of us, sharpening the impulse to go after what we want. Yeah, yeah. And, this is really significant because, like I said, over these last 5 months with this intense energy, so much that was shifting and turning over and being stretched and being shrunk. And, we haven't felt the forward movement. And also, we had a Mercury retrograde. So, this is really just raising our consciousness about the fact that, you know what, the gate is open, the chains are off. The block is gone. You can move forward, but do it with discernment and do it being in alignment with your compass, your annual commitments, and your higher purpose. Yeah. Yeah. Like you don't have to be a wanderer. You can know this is where I'm headed. Absolutely. So we come to today, April the 12th, and here we have this conjunction between Mars and Neptune in Aries. This enthusiastic aspect gives us a major boost of energy to help us chase our dreams. This is a good day for relationships and love affairs if we keep our egos in check. When we're open to receiving divine guidance, our actions have meaning and impact. This aspect is ideal for romance, creativity, and socializing, as we're all eager to enjoy the softer side of life. And as I often tell you, if you're not in a relationship, your beloved hasn't shown up yet, then the romance that you're having is with yourself, which is really, really important. So if you're not in a relationship, don't think, oh, this has nothing to do with me. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Be creative, be romantic with yourself so that when your romantic partner shows up, you're not going to hesitate or doubt because you will have already put it out there to the universe. Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready. Now, tomorrow, April 13th, and by the way, just know that today, Monday, and Tuesday, very, very, very positive energy with this Aries drive. And this one is a sextile between Venus in Taurus and Jupiter in Cancer. It's your lucky day, as a pleasant aspect makes it an ideal time to socialize, make money, and fall in love. And like I said, also you can fall in love with yourself. Use this increase of charisma to value yourself. Exactly. So again, a very positive energy. And, sextiles are a flow energy that is designed to give us a choice. So it's saying, yes, there is a flow there, but you have to be willing to choose it. A trine is just the flow. The flow is just there. But with a sextile, we do have to choose. So just remember that. And I'm choosing. I'm choosing Venus and Taurus and Jupiter in Cancer. Yeah, it's a beautiful aspect. And so then on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, April the 14th, we get another sextile of Mercury, still in Pisces, but sextiling Uranus in Taurus again. This transit brings exciting news and stimulating conversations. Your daily routines may take a detour in new and unexpected directions. You can learn new things and meet new people. Future oriented thinking and open mindedness will also lead to original and ingenious discoveries. Yes, how wonderful is that? Beautiful flow energy. And then on this day, we get Mercury entering into Aries. So we have two of our personal planets now going to be in Aries. This is not the usual bold, headstrong Mercury we typically associate with Aries. Why? Because soon after the ingress, Mercury conjuncts Neptune at 0 degrees Aries on April the 12th. And it's really, I apologize, I should have changed I forgot to change the dates on this, but the conjunction is coming a couple of days from this. Anyway, Mercury still has Aries drive and confidence. However, this time it is animated by a higher inspiration. It doesn't come across as blunt or impulsive, but visionary. With confidence in our words, we can set aside our quick tempers and use our voice to lead. Be innovative, and you can achieve great things. Yes, yes, yes. Wonderful. And more message. Mercury in Aries from Moon Omens. Mercury's ingress into Aries inspires us to be courageous in our thinking, direct in our communication, and quick in our decision making. This combination of energies supports our efforts to improve our assertiveness and sharpen our ability to speak our truth without over explaining or second guessing ourselves. In Aries, Mercury energizes our minds, motivates us to take action on our ideas, and inspires us to say what we desire out loud. Except for the first few days of this transit, when Mercury will be conjunct with Saturn and Neptune, this transit supports bold, decisive expression. Mercury in Aries can emphasize tendencies toward bluntness and excessive reactivity. And the invitation for us during this time is to express ourselves authentically, yet tactfully or diplomatically, and without creating unnecessary conflict. Yes. Very, very important, darlings. Very important. And from Astro Butterfly, she says Mercury follows Mars into Aries on April 15th, 2026. After such a long time in Pisces, due to the retrograde, most of us are probably ready for some clarity. Once in Aries, Mercury moves quickly. And by April 19th, it reaches Saturn and Mars, forming a triple Mercury Mars Saturn conjunction at 7 degrees in Aries. Triple conjunctions are rare by nature. We have not only one, but three planetary cycles converging at the same degree simultaneously, a level of celestial coordination that simply doesn't happen often. When it does, something becomes clear enough to act on. and significant developments almost always follow. Pay close attention to whatever is emerging now in the Aries sector of your birth chart. Yeah. So again, really good, positive energy. And this, I love it, celestial coordination, that's so rare. And that will be coming on the 19th. I think it's like the 19th to the 20th. That energy will be here with us. Yeah. And then on Thursday the 16th, I did go past the 15th for you because I think these are important to know now before the new moon. And the first one is this sextile with Mars now in Aries and Pluto in Aquarius. This charming aspect can help you win support in unexpected ways. You're confident in your vision, so be bold, share it with others to attract the right support. Yes, yes, yes. So again, those of us who are opening up new projects or new adventures, this is good stuff. And Pluto is about not just the dying of things, but also the birthing of things, the rebirthing of things. And so that energy from Aries is supporting that. Yeah. And then we get the Mercury conjunct with Neptune in Aries. When Mercury is in Aries, we are less concerned about objective viewpoints and explanations and more concerned with reaching a decision quickly. Our thoughts and ideas are pioneering, and we tend to speak or text more spontaneously and directly. Neptune in Aries awakens the sovereign self. It encourages us to reclaim agency, rediscover our identity, and take spiritual ownership of our path. But actions have consequences, so choose what you do wisely, as this bold aspect can help or hurt you today. Yes, very powerful on the 16th. And then on this same day, and I need a little drum roll here. We get the final Sun conjuncting Chiron in Aries. So let me give you a little background. Sun conjunct Chiron is that time of the year for these last 8 years when the Sun, our core consciousness, meets our inner teacher, that's Chiron. Chiron's role is to guide us toward the highest version of ourself, beyond ego, beyond the illusion of separation. And the way Chiron works, its magic, is rarely comfortable. Sun conjunct Chiron is a transit when old wounds of abandonment and insignificance resurface. But if we dig deeper, we'll find that these triggers hold the keys to healing and self acceptance. And this newfound wholeness, in turn, will help us unlock our greatest potential. And here it's talking about the gift in our core wound. Yes. So on April 16th, 2026, the Sun conjuncts Chiron at 26 degrees Aries. That's a later degree in Aries. Whether in transit or in your natal chart, Sun conjunct Chiron is a synonym for a healing crisis. When we have a Sun conjunct Sun Chiron transit, something inside of us cracks and it cracks open. And that's a sign that healing is about to begin. However, before healing occurs, the Chiron symptoms of shame, guilt, and inadequacy often become more intense and painful than ever. This intensification is precisely how healing works. If you stay with the pain and don't run away from it, you will eventually heal. And you will naturally heal when you allow yourself to sit in the pain and not ignore it, not sedate it, not analyze it, but Yeah, get the support you need to just be able to feel it, and that's the way you're letting it go. Yes, letting it go. So some more from, Astro Butterfly, Sun conjunct Chiron in Aries. She says, "Aries is about I am, and Sun conjunct Chiron here teaches the places where simply being ourselves has not always come easily. Chiron, the half horse, half human, is a symbol for the lifelong progress process of integration, meaning learning how to hold different parts of ourselves at once without rejecting any of them. In astrology, Chiron is associated with the wound, but the wound isn't really the point. What matters is our relationship with the parts of ourselves we haven't yet fully welcomed in. As long as these parts remain unaccepted, Chiron keeps pointing at them, and that process can feel like reopening old wounds. But what's important to remember is that it's our own self rejection that creates the pain. There is nothing about us that doesn't belong to us. And as long as we doubt this, Chiron will keep nudging us until we accept it and commit to healing. Yes. This is the last time the sun meets Chiron in Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. This is a time when questions of identity and purpose can no longer be bypassed. It's now or never. And let me just point out that it's the last time, probably, I know in my lifetime, because Chiron will not be back in Aries until 2131 years. Yeah, so that's a minute from now. Sun conjunct Chiron is the instinct of the human spirit to leave something immaterial behind. Our spirit seeks manifestation, seeking our spirit seeking manifestation represents our gift to the world. The sun is our individuality, what makes us unique, our mission in this lifetime. Chiron orbits between Saturn and Uranus, and it is the bridge between the visible, Saturn, and the invisible, Uranus, between the material and the eternal. And that means that, Saturn is the planet that we can see with our eyes, but we can't see Uranus. We have to use a telescope. So that's why it's the visible and the invisible. I love that. So, what happens when Sun conjuncts Chiron? Sun conjunct Chiron is the compelling drive to take our individual essence, the sun, and merge it with something greater. Yes. Ah, I just love this message. I think it is so important because it is talking about legacy. It's talking about that we want to be able to know that our life was not futile, that our life was not nothing, that we left something behind, whether that is we broke a cycle, we broke an ancestral wound, that we established a new level of achievement for our family history. It's something like that. Or, we wrote a book and it's helping people and, whatever. But this is saying that, this sun conjunct Chiron, especially in Aries, is saying, really understand that you're healing the pain so that you really can feel like your life had meaning and purpose and that you contributed something to the well-beingness, to the joy, the happiness, the peacefulness of others. And yeah, that is something that is something to take seriously and to be very happy about. Absolutely. Excuse me. Ursuli Entertainment is giving me it's saying cancer, 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 cancer. Give me some crabs. I love it. So I'm going to give you the cosmic reminder as always until it's no longer functional, but this is the minor magic triangle. between among Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. I got to upgrade my little sign here because Neptune isn't retrograde at this time, and Pluto isn't retrograde at this time. But this is from 2025 to 2028 that we get this magic triangle, which is a most positive, significant, and consequential planetary alignment in our lifetimes and the century. Aries, Gemini, and Aquarius are most affected. However, this amazing period of discovery and revelation can benefit everyone. Woohoo! Love it. And of course, we continue to pray for world peace. Keep it up because there is a law right now, and hopefully this will last. So continue to do that, stay focused on that. And as the monks have guided us toward, raise your consciousness level to a higher timeline. And definitely, when you wake up in the morning, take the time to write, to declare, to speak out loud, and to think about today is going to be my peaceful day. Ashe. Write it down, trust it, believe in it. This is really, it's going to move mountains. And so, my dears, thank you for hanging in here with me and for listening in. Hopefully, this information is a support to you over these next couple of weeks. I will return with the last half of the astrology for April next Sunday and talk about that Uranus into Gemini. We have a new moon in Aries, so I'll talk about that too. And I will do my Wisdom Walk talk for the final Sunday of this month. I think it's the 26th, and be talking about, honoring the higher timeline. So be well, be safe, be happy, be peaceful, and I will definitely see you again very soon. Bye now.